Welcome back, friends. Do you remember when Blossom the TV show ruled Monday nights with floppy hats, freeze frames, and more woes than we could handle? This wasn't just another teen sitcom. It was the weird, wonderful, jazz-scored coming-of-age story that dared to be honest. Before Clueless and Sabrina, and before Boy Meets World gave us very special episodes about everything from shoplifting to friendship bracelets, there was Blossom, a show that balanced humor with heartbreak, gave us the most iconic whoa in TV history, and somehow made introspection feel cool. Today, we're rewinding back to 1990 and looking back at 10 wild behind-the-scenes facts from Blossom. So grab your floppy hat, cue the piano jazz, and relive one of the quirkiest, gutsiest shows of the 90s. Because Blossom wasn't just about growing up. It was about figuring yourself out, one whoa at a time. Fact number 1, the test pilot, Blossom's alternate universe. Before Blossom became the offbeat single dad sitcom that we all know and love, NBC shot a completely different pilot in 1990. And it looked like it came from a parallel universe where everything was just slightly off. In this version, both of Blossom's parents were together. Mother, Barbara, played by Barry Youngfellow, and father, Terry, played by Richard Masur. The family setup was taken straight out of a page from the network's comfort zone. 2 parents, a tidy house, total sitcom normalcy. Even Joey Lawrence wasn't Joey yet. He was Donnie Russo, which sounds less teen idol and more like guy who sells stereo equipment out of his trunk. NBC aired the pilot as a one-off special in July of 1990, basically a test to see if audiences cared. And the audiences did care. The episode ranked number 3 for the entire week, beating Seinfeld reruns in the ratings, which is the 90s TV equivalent of finding out that your garage band outsold Nirvana. On paper, it was a hit. However, behind the scenes, executives decided it felt a little bit too traditional. Don Rio, the show's creator, had pitched Blossom as a slightly edgy, modern coming-of-age story, not The Cosby Show 2.0. So when NBC ordered the full series, Rio scrapped the family setup and went with his original plan. A single, hip musician dad trying to raise 3 kids on his own. Barbara was simply written out, Terry was replaced with the jazz-playing Nick Russo, played by Ted Wass, and the whole tone shifted from canned laugh comfort to heartfelt, slightly chaotic realism. Cause sometimes in order to make a classic, you gotta delete the beta. Fact number 2, the one condition, how Ted Wass became Blossom's dad.
Oh, hi, Dad.
Hey, sweet.
Oh, you made it home early.
Yeah, it's nice to be on the freeway at 5 in the morning. By then, everyone's run out of ammunition.
By the time Blossom came calling, Ted Wass wasn't chasing sitcom fame anymore. Rather, he was ready to hang up his acting shoes. After starring as the well-meaning Danny Dallas on the 1970s soap parody titled Soap, Wass had quietly been shifting his focus behind the camera, building his second act as a director. So when NBC approached him to play Nick Russo, the jazz-playing single dad who somehow kept his family afloat through teenage chaos, Wass hesitated. He didn't just want to act again. He wanted a chance to direct. The producers really wanted him for the role though. And Wass had some leverage. His one condition, if he took the part as Nick Russo, that he would also get to direct episodes of the show. NBC and creator Don Rio agreed, a move that ended up paying off for everyone. Wass not only brought warmth and wit to the character Nick Russo, but he also stepped behind the camera for nearly 20 episodes, including the series finale. Those episodes became his unofficial film school, launching a new chapter that would see him directing Spin City, 2.5 Men, Melissa and Joey, and Rules of Engagement. Number 3. Melissa Joan Hart was almost 6.
I'm not that kind of person. It's like when you go to school and everybody's wearing the kind of clothes that you want, and I don't have that kind of money, and you don't have that kind of money, and now with Dad gone, I mean, I'm not trying to blame this on the divorce, but we just don't have that kind of money.
It's nearly impossible for fans to picture anyone but Jenna Von Oy as Six Lemure. Blossom's mile-a-minute best friend who could out-talk a radio advertisement. But believe it or not, another 90s icon nearly wore that scrunchie first, Melissa Joan Hart. At the time, Hart was one of Nickelodeon's rising stars, bouncing between commercials and guest spots while looking for her next big break. According to multiple retrospectives, the role of Six, Blossom's fast-talking, advice-giving confidant, was reportedly offered to Hart. But before anything could be made official, Nickelodeon countered with a starring role of their own. Clarissa explains it all. So, Hart faced the ultimate teen TV crossroads: sidekick or star. She chose Clarissa, and the rest became cable TV history. In the end, both shows would premiere within a year of one another, and both shows would become twin pillars of the early 90s girl power television. Two smart and funny and slightly weird heroines navigating crushes, parents, and growing pains. Critics and fans alike oftentimes mentioned Blossom and Clarissa in the same breath, comparing their relatable leads and offbeat storytelling styles. In a perfect bit of pop culture symmetry, Jenna Von Oy later guest starred on Hart's sitcom Melissa and Joey, bringing the connection full circle. Number 4. Mayim Bialik juggled two sitcoms at once. Before Blossom became NBC's quirky breakout hit, Mayim Bialik was already pulling double duty. At the very same time NBC was testing the Blossom pilot as a summer one-off, Fox was premiering Malloy, a family sitcom starring Bialik alongside a then-unknown Jennifer Aniston. Malloy hit the air first, debuting in July of 1990, with Blossom airing its pilot episode just a week later. For a brief moment, Mayim Bialik was headlining two network sitcoms on rival networks. It sounds like a dream problem for any young actor, until you realize only one of those shows could survive. Malloy struggled right out of the gate, pulling weak summer ratings and ending just after 7 episodes. NBC, meanwhile, saw Blossom's test special soar to number 3 for the week. Suddenly, the network that treated it as a one-off wanted more, and the timing couldn't have been any better. Fox officially canceled Malloy in August of 1990, freeing Bialik to take the lead role full-time when Blossom was picked up to series. Had Malloy somehow become a hit, NBC might have lost its star before Blossom even started. And that means one of the 90s most recognizable teen shows might have never existed. So in a twist that's worthy of a sitcom plot itself, one show's flop became another's fortune. Malloy would fade into trivia, but Blossom went on to define an era. Doesn't that go to show you, sometimes timing really is everything. Number 5. Richie. Blossom was originally a boy. Before Blossom became one of the defining teen sitcoms of the early 90s, creator Don Rio was pitching something totally different. A show called Richie. His idea was a quiet, introspective teenage boy growing up with his hip-with-it single dad. Think The Wonder Years meets Doogie Howser, just with a jazz soundtrack instead of a voiceover. It was 1989, and television was already packed to the brim with coming-of-age stories about boys learning life lessons under warm suburban lighting. So when Rio brought Richie to NBC, an executive made a simple but game-changing suggestion. Why not make the lead a girl instead? Rio took it and ran with it. In later interviews, he joked that making the main character female meant, "I could steal every story the Wonder Years ever did and no one would know." With that one decision, Richie became Blossom, and suddenly TV had a new kind of heroine. Sensitive, funny, and a little wiser than the adults around her. As a clever wink to the show's origins, the final episode features Blossom describing herself in an essay as a teenage Holden Caulfield. It's a full circle kind of moment. A nod to the moody literary boy the series started as, now reimagined through a teenage girl's voice that helped redefine what a family sitcom could be. Number 6. The origin of Six's name.
Hi, I'm Jenna Von Oy, and I play Six Lemire. First of all, let me answer the question that I get asked all the time. Where did you get the name Six?
Well, in the pilot episode, my character explained that her father joked because that's how many beers it took. The real reason is that the son of the man who created this show went to school with a girl named Seven, so he just deducted one and called me Six.
If you grew up watching Blossom, you probably remember Six Lemure's name getting almost as many laughs as her one-liners. It's one of those sitcom mysteries that sounded like a setup for a running gag. And sure enough, it was. In one episode, Six delivers with the kind of deadpan that only the 90s could get away with. My father said that's how many beers it took. It's dark, it's really funny, and perfectly on brand for a show that mixed heavy moments with sharp humor. That line instantly became a classic, referenced again later, sealing Six's origin story as equal parts tragic and hilarious. But behind the scenes, her name wasn't born from a hangover. It actually came from creator Don Rio's sense of cool. Years earlier, Rio had met a woman named Seven and thought a number name sounded distinctive and modern. So when it came time to name Blossom's fast-talking best friend, Six just felt right. The move ended up being surprisingly ahead of its time. A few years later, another number-named kid, Seven, popped up on Married with Children. And Seinfeld's George Costanza famously tried to name his future child the same thing. And all of that happened long before Stranger Things made 11 a household name. Whether or not Blossom kicked off the trend, one thing is for certain. In 1991, there was only one Six on TV, and she lived up to her name in every possible way. Fact number 7. Jenna Von Oy's rapid-fire dialogue.
Right, 6. Anyway, Susie heard it from Lisa, who's best friends with Nancy, who goes out with Dennis's friend Robert with the bad skin, not handsome Robert. And he told Nancy, who told Lisa, who told Susie, who told me, that Dennis told the boys in the locker room that you and he had sex at the movies the other night.
Do you remember when your best friend talked so fast you almost needed subtitles? That was Six Lemure, and no one nailed the speed like Jenny Von Oy. Her lightning-quick delivery became a defining trait of the character. So much so, it turned into a standing joke. Viewers would oftentimes rewind the scenes with Six just to catch everything. Funny thing is, the rush of words wasn't scripted at first. During Six's audition, Jenna, probably jittery and nervous, speeched her lines so fast the producers blurted, "Stop, that's the character." They told her to keep that up. Suddenly, Six wasn't just talkative. She was like a verbal machine gun with a beating heart. That became part of the legend. Years later, Jenna would go on to land a voice cameo on Family Guy as a rapid-fire character. Apparently, even they couldn't resist that Six energy. Number 8. Joey Lawrence, Teen Idol Mania. At the peak of Blossom fever, Joey Lawrence wasn't just a sitcom star. He was at this point a full-blown teen idol. Think New Kids on the Block meets Tiger Beat, but with better hair. According to the Los Angeles Times, Lawrence was getting between 4,000 to 7,000 fan letters per week, enough to turn NBC's mailroom into a full-time Joey operation. His popularity was so immense that stories circulated about crowds of teenage girls chasing him to his car after tapings, which in turn forced the studio to beef up his security. Whether that's legend or fact, one thing's for sure. The Joey mania was so very real. NBC knew exactly what they had on their hands, too. They started working Lawrence's music career right into Blossom itself. His 1993 single, titled "Nothing My Love Can't Fix," was promoted by the show, complete with a slow-motion, leather-jacketed music video that could only exist in the early 90s. The show even slipped in scenes of Joey singing, blurring the line between character and pop sensation. While Joey was busy being mobbed by fans and topping teen magazine covers, Mayim Bialik's experience couldn't have been any more different. She once recalled that when she went off to her college orientation in 1995, nobody recognized her. And to be fair, off-screen, she dressed nothing like Blossom's floppy hat fashion icon, which for her was an ice break from the spotlight Joey could never escape. Number 9. Bill Bixby's final days on Blossom. Before his passing, actor and director Bill Bixby, best known for The Incredible Hulk and the courtship of Eddie's father, found his second home behind the camera on Blossom. He directed dozens of episodes across seasons 3 and 4, becoming both a creative anchor and a quiet mentor to the young cast. By that time, Bixby was privately battling prostate cancer. Ever the professional, he continued working, oftentimes concealing the severity of his illness from those around him. According to trade press reports, in November of '93, Bixby collapsed on set while directing an episode and was hospitalized soon after. Less than 1 week later, he passed away at the age of 59.
The tragedy of Bill Bixby, the diagnosis that would lead to his death.
It exploded. I had a category 9 cancer that was just coursing through my body.
The loss hit the Blossom family quite hard. Ted Wass later reflected that the mood on set changed overnight. The laughter that had always filled the soundstage suddenly felt muted. The cast and crew dedicated the remainder of the season to Bixby's memory, carrying his influence through every episode they filmed thereafter. For all of its bright colors and teenage energy, the show Blossom was shaped behind the scenes by resilience and grace. And few embodied that more than Bill Bixby, who kept directing until the very end. Number 10, Reboot in the works. And maybe not. Blossom was the quirky 90s teen sitcom about floppy hats, jazz dads, and whoa. And guess what? The cast and creators both once believed that the story wasn't quite finished. In April of 2023, Mayim Bialik revealed that the pilot script for a Blossom reboot was completed and the entire original cast was on board. Bialik and creator Don Rio said this wouldn't be a straight sitcom revival. Instead, they were envisioning a single-camera dramedy exploring where these characters would be in modern day. Blossom as an adult navigating her own career or kids, Joey facing midlife, would he still be saying whoa at 50? And Six and Nick Russo with layered lives well beyond their high school selves. And here's the twist. As of late 2025, the door has been slammed shut. In August of 2025, Bialik announced via her Substack that the rights holder, Disney, declined to move the project forward, which blocked the creators from seeking outside options. And there you have it. The little NBC sitcom that did way more than just give us a catchphrase. It gave us a new kind of family, one that wasn't perfect but was honest. A single dad doing his best. A daughter figuring herself out. A best friend who could talk faster than a cassette rewind. And through all of this, it reminded us that growing up doesn't come with a laugh track. But it does help if you've got people who stick around for the credits. Even decades later, the spirit of Blossom still feels ahead of its time. Smart, awkward, heartfelt, and unafraid to get real. And while the reboot may never happen, maybe that's okay. Maybe some stories belong exactly where they started, in that sweet spot between memory and reruns. So what about you? Did you grow up watching Blossom? Do you remember your favorite whoa moment? Or that episode that hit harder than you expected? Let us know your memories in the comments section below, because we love hearing from y'all. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and ring that bell, because we've got more stories coming from the golden age of 1990s television. Until next time, thanks so much for watching, everybody, and we'll catch you in the next one.